to do something I should have done a while ago.
That's okay.
Probably less than a minute.
Test. Everything
Test,
seems...
test.
Test.
Test. Okay, I'm ready whenever you are.
All right.
Okay, guys, we're going to go live.
Everything seems like it's coming through, Merle. I've got it coming through on the board and on the vMix. We're going to go ahead and end the test and start Timberwolf Night in America.
Of course, we probably got people listening already.
Yep.
This is Timberwolf Night in America. Tom Schultz in Boston there. It's our second show of the season, our sixth season of the show, the 70th show overall. I'm the so-called V of the T, voice of the Timberwolves, Brad Cohn. We are live tonight from Mouton's Southern Bistro near the intersection of Cypress Creek Road and La Colline, just across the parking lot from Sprouts. We'll be here for the next hour and 20 minutes or so if you want to come on down. Apologize for being a little late. One of the hazards of Internet broadcasting is that the Internet can do strange things. And its equipment can do strange things. That's why every once in a while we'll drop the broadcast for a play or so. And those of you who are veterans of listening and watching us, no, just stay patient, stay there. We'll be right back in a second. Well, we had one of those little things tonight. It caused us to be about 10 minutes late starting, but here we are. Joining me as always here on Timberwolf Night America, the king of Laces Out, the donut hole, the wonderful Willard of Oz. There ain't no bolder holder than that chicken-licking lifetime Timberwolf, Josh Willard.
Thank you so much, Brad. I appreciate... all the warm praise, just being here. I'm sorry, just a little bit flustered with technology sometimes.
Yeah.
It just gets under my skin when it doesn't work for you. But when it works with you, I mean, oh, my gosh.
Well, technology's like the referees, right?
Right.
If they're doing everything right, you don't ever think about it. You don't
Oh, my
ignore
gosh.
them. When they screw up,
That's right. But we got everything going now. Thank you, Suna, for helping out as always, and Mr. Merle for being so patient with me. But we're good now and ready to go talk about Timberwolf football.
Some special guests tonight, the running backs. We'll be talking with the running backs and their position coach, who happens to also be the head coach, Carl Abzek, will join us tonight as well. With us tonight will be Timberwolves' Jonathan Stockwell, Majestin Haverda, Will Lipscomb, and Daniel Hernandez. Now, before we get going, let's acknowledge the solemnity of this date, September 11th. It was 16 years ago today that a fistful of hateful cowards made their political and social statement by violently murdering over 3,500 innocent people in New York City, Washington, D.C., and a Pennsylvania pasture. We must never forget that our American societal, technical, educational, medicinal, industrial, engineering, and communication successes are subject to debilitating envy by some societies in this world, and this date marks a demonstration of the certainty that such people will stop at nothing to destroy us for being so successful. Our perpetual vigilance in this regard is absolutely necessary, and maintaining our capability and will to respond vigorously is absolutely required. God bless the men and women protecting us from such evil. And Josh, I want to give you a chance. You got something that's kind of on your mind right now, too.
Yeah, I got a lot of family right now about to go through a big hurricane that's looming on the East Coast. So just, praying for all my family. Born and raised in North Carolina, and everybody's stayed in North Carolina. I have an aunt and uncle and a cousin, though, in South Carolina. So they're going to get a lot of the bulk of it. And, it became a big storm so quickly, and now they're saying it's going to slow down and it's going to kind of stay right on that coastline, and so it's going to be pretty brutal, and it's that's where our family goes to vacation every year at the Outer Banks Islands on Hatteras Island in North Carolina. It's a beautiful beach, and we actually saw a Facebook video already where the city is already flooding, and it's bright blue skies. So it's not raining, but the storm surge is already
that far ahead of all the weather.
And so it really is going to be a life-changing storm to those people of that island that we have gotten so very close to, and it's going to be a 4 to 6 feet storm surge, or just in Myrtle Beach. Mr. Steve Groves, one of the Cedar Park alumni, his daughter, class of 13, correct.
Got some Carolina connections.
That's
there
right.
Too, yeah.
So just praying for a lot of the family members, and then from our broadcast crew. I mean, Jim Byerly, my uncle, he's in Columbia, South Carolina. So I don't know if he's going to go up to our family in Winston-Salem and stay with his mother, my grandparents, or going to try to ride it out and just deal with a bunch of the rain.
All right, so here's what's going to be on the agenda tonight. A little bit shortened agenda with the late start, no big deal. A review of the Cedar Ridge game and some of the superlatives that found their way into the school record book as a result. A review of other scores of interest in 11-5A and around Central Texas. A conversation with our Cedar Park running backs. Fun trivia game with the guys, and then a look ahead at San Angelo Central. Josh, we thought we were going to get a football broadcast going from the Palace Thursday night, but the weather didn't cooperate. We tried to stay online and bridge the lightning delay gap, so to speak, but ultimately a pregame show. We started at about 20 till 7, finally shut down at 8:20, thus being a 100-minute pregame show that led to no game.
Yeah, and you never liked that, but we did have a lot of fun. I mean, and you liked that facility, too. I forgot how much of an icon that stadium was when we moved to Texas. And when that stadium was actually built, I mean, that was just the precursor to all the big-time stadiums in the area. The one that I could mostly remember it being like was the one in Waco when the Cedar Park 2004 team went and played that playoff game up there. And it just reminded me of the Palace so much. And no track, you're close to the action. I mean, it's concrete. I liked the stadium and hate that we didn't get to play in it, but I mean, everything works out. But
good-looking placement. We did get to have some interesting conversations. Chuck Licata came on board for a little while and talked about some things there. And we had a coach, a blast from our past, former DB coach on the 2014 that you just mentioned, Darren Ramsey, now the DB coach for Cedar Ridge, was there. And we talked about some of those days with him. And then Keith Moreland came in. We got to talk about Keith Moreland's travels through the sports world. So that was all kind of fun. Now, that 100-minute pre-no-game show with those interesting conversations available for you to enjoy on the KMAX Sites Talk Shows page, just like Timberwolf Night in America. It is a TNIA link on that Talk Shows page between last year's show 69 and tonight's show 70. Hit that thing and slide forward, maybe 30 minutes or so, and the guests will start coming on. First part will just sound at first like you're going to be hearing a football game because, of course, that's how the night started out. But we just want to capture those cool conversations for you if you wanted to. All right, a review of the Cedar Ridge game. So that game was then moved to Friday night at 7:30 at Bulldog Stadium in Burnet. Something I realized right away but didn't talk about, Josh, was that this was a bad omen. The program was winless in 2 previous games played in facilities called Bulldog Stadium, in Waller in the 0-1 playoffs and in Copper's Cove in the 0-4 regular season. Turns out we weren't able to reverse that trend in the 34-28 loss Friday night. Program is weirdly now 0-3 in places called Bulldog Stadium. That's a weird stat. Yeah. And it started out pretty slowly. After the first 2 possessions exchanges, by midway through the first quarter, there was no score and little ball movement. The bad news is that the Timberwolf offense had only 26 yards. The good news is the Black Rain had held Cedar Ridge to 0 in the first 2 possessions. Then on the first play of their 3rd possession, well, lightning caused us problems on this night too, and it struck. Ridge quarterback Jalen Brown struck wideout Ethan Morone deep over the middle for 47 yards and the first down at the Cedar Park 13. On the next play, Raider running back Chris Vaughn sliced into the end zone, and the kick made it 7-0 Ridge. It was his only one of 10 carries in the first half to gain more than 1 yard. The Cedar Park offense responded, lunging 54 yards in 7 plays, but that drive bogged down at the Raider 27 on a failed 4th down play. Black Rain threw a 3-and-out at Cedar Ridge, and the Raiders punted. At this point in the game, total ball movement was in favor of Cedar Park, 80 yards to 73, with 47 of theirs coming on 1 play, but of course they don't keep score that way. Both defenses then made themselves felt, with Cedar Park suffering a 3-and-out on 4 lost yards before punting it away. Then the Black Rain took 14 yards away from the Cedar Ridge offense before forcing another punt, this one blocked by Hudson McGowan, the first of 2 huge defensive plays for McGowan on the night. Then the game broke down into a sort of turnover fest over the next several minutes. The offense jumped 27 yards in 2 plays, but lost the ball after a completed pass at the Raider 21 ended in a lost fumble. 2 plays later, Ridge fumbled it back to the Timberwolves on our own 29. The Raider defense held Cedar Park to another 3-and-out, but Coach Absek gambled on a fake punt, something that's worked often for Cedar Park at about that point in the game and that point in the field over the years, but it didn't on this night. The pass was picked off, and Ridge was in business at the CP45. At this point in the game, net ball movement was exactly the same, 109 yards for each team. Unfortunately, 3 plays later, Brown hit Morone again, this time for 31 yards up the left sideline for another Raider touchdown. The kick made it 14-0 with 2:26 left in the half. From then on, Cedar Park outscored the Raiders 28-20 and outgained them 376-214. Of course, that's not how they keep score either. After the kickoff return to the 33, the Cedar Park offense really got cranking. Quarterback Ryan Fiala, who started out slowly, going just 3 for his first 11, closed out the half by hitting on 9 of his last 10, including his last 5, straight for 90 yards, culminating in an 18-yard scoring strike to Carson Neal on our last play of the half. The drive had gone 67 yards in just 5 plays. The kick from Justin Bohr made it 14-7 at the half. It didn't seem right that CP was down at the break. Every stack except rushing yardage was firmly in their favor, but again, that's not how they keep score. There were only 24 rushing yards on 15 carries at halftime, and that stat would turn out to be portentous for the last 6 minutes of the game. Since the Timberwolves had won the coin toss and elected to defer, as they usually do, they got the ball to open the second half, meaning that in essence they got the ball twice in a row. And they made that count. Ryder Hernandez came in at quarterback to start the second half, and after a short run into the line of 2 yards to the 20, a very rare gadget play was called by Coach Absek. The slot receiver on the left side, Will Odoye, came around after the snap, took the ball from Hernandez, running toward the right. But then he pitched it to Aaron Esparza, who'd lined up as a wideout on the right, coming back to the left. As Esparza passed in front of Hernandez, he flipped it back to Ryder, and while all this was going on, Carson Neal had escaped everyone, was wide open deep down the middle of the field. Hernandez hit him, but a little short, causing Neal to wait for the ball. This allowed 2 Raider DBs to have a shot at catching him, but Neal deftly outmaneuvered both of them to the left sideline and streaked into the end zone for an 80-yard flea flicker touchdown. Bohr's kick tied the game at 14 up. Only 49 seconds had passed on the game clock since there had been a 14-0 deficit. This was the 10th shortest elapsed time between Cedar Park scoring plays in program history. Even though separated by halftime, it was over a half an hour on the wall clock. Unfortunately, the erasure of the deficit didn't last long. Chris Vaughn, who had rushed for 3 touchdowns and over 200 yards against Temple the week before, finally got unlimbered in the third quarter. Vaughn had 10 carries for 6 yards in the first half, but he found his footing on this opening second-half drive by the Raiders in the third quarter. Cedar Ridge marched 75 yards in 6 plays to recapture the lead, 21-14. Vaughn exploded for 45 yards on 4 carries on this drive, which started at the Ridge 25 and ended in the end zone when the Raiders tried a gadget play of their own in the form of an end-around pass aborted by Ethan Morone when he tucked it in and ran the final 22 yards in the score. 21-14 Raiders with 10:09 left in the third. Cedar Park then covered 34 yards on 6 plays before again going for it on 4th down in Raider territory, but being denied. But 3 plays later from their own 41, the Raiders' Brown threw a tip drill pick 6, taken back 45 yards by McGowan on his other great play of the night. The kick tied it again at 21 all with 6:47 on the clock in the third. The Ridge had solved their rushing woes and came out with a 65-yard touchdown drive on 5 plays, all but 1 on the ground. Vaughn again getting most of the yardage. The final 22 on the scoring jaunt. 28-21 Raiders, 4:36 left in the third. And they weren't done. The Ridge D forced a 3-and-out on the Timberwolves and started after the punt at their own 41. 7 plays and 59 yards later, they're in the end zone again, this time on an 11-yard run up the gut by Jacorin Isaac. But critically, the extra point kick was blocked by Ben Bell, and the lead was kept at 13 with just seconds left in the third. The Timberwolf offense responded again, going 71 yards in just 4 plays, the score coming on a 25-yard pass from Fiala to Neal. The kick reduced the lead to 6 with plenty of time left since that scoring toss came on the first play of the fourth quarter. Cedar Park would outgain Ridge in that final quarter 146-59. But again, that's not how they keep score. 51 of those Raider yards would come on the next possession, but the Black Rain stripped the ball, and the Timberwolves started at their own 14. It was a beautiful drive, going at its maximum extent 75 yards, with the first and goal at the 1. But 3 plays later, the Timberwolves had been thrown back to the 6, and the 4th down play didn't succeed. The Black Rain came up huge and held the Raiders to 8 yards and a 3-and-out. After the punt, with over 3 minutes remaining, Cedar Park started at the Raider 45. 5 plays later, they again reached a first and goal at the 1, but went backwards 8 yards in the first 3 plays, and a pass was batted away in the end zone on 4th down. Ridge took the knee, and with it, the victory, 34-28. The Raiders' Chris Vaughn would end up with 18 carries for 115 yards and 2 touchdowns, 108 of those yards coming in the third quarter. For Cedar Park, Carson Neal ended up with 14 catches for 308 yards and 3 touchdowns. Rushing woes still an issue, only 24 yards in the first half, 29 in the second, with 26 of that coming on one key run by Fiala. This was the first game in Cedar Park history where 2 quarterbacks each threw for more than 100 yards. And also, both quarterbacks had their career bests in passing yardage in the same game. That's the first in the program's history as well. The Black Rain really shut down the Cedar Ridge passing game in the second half. The Raiders only went 2 for 10 for 22 yards and a pick 6 that went the other way for 45. So you could say that their passing game lost them 23 yards and 7 points in the second half. Fiala had a career night in every category except number of touchdown passes. He had 2. His best was 3 against both Hutto and Magnolia last year. Ryan went 23 for 39 for 291 yards, no interceptions, and the 2 touchdowns. He also had his best night running the ball. Coming into this game, his career rushing amounted to negative 18 yards against Cedar Ridge. He had several key drive-sustaining runs with 8 carries for 51 yards. Josh, what are your impressions coming out of that game?
I love the fight in these guys and their ability to just keep grinding against a tough team that was very proven last season, and then earlier in week 1 really put up a lot of good stats offensively, and then defensively you knew they had playmakers. But Cedar Park, they were behind the 8 ball, but still found a way defensively to keep themselves in the ball game. That interception return for a touchdown was electric, and exactly what Cedar Park needed. And that's just what the Cedar Park defense does. They swarm to the football, and they play for 4 quarters. And so it's always exciting when you know that Cedar Park is going to get an opportunity to play on defense. And that's not normally something that you think, is when your team is down at the very end, you want your offense on the field. We still have that high-octane offense, but when our defense is on the field, they truly are electric, and they take it to the offense, and it's exciting. But offensively as well, Ryan Fiala having a very excellent night in taking care of the football. I thought the offense did a good job of taking care of the football. Finishing drives is what's got to be fixed, and looking towards just putting together the complete drive. But other than that, you got to like that Carson Neal was getting open deep downfield, and our quarterbacks weren't having any issues of getting it to him. Just an overall great fight. It's hard to be scheduled for a game and then have it delayed a whole day. I mean, you don't know how that psyche works. I mean, like you were saying, you lose a whole day of practice doing that, and so it's kind of frustrating. But it was an interesting game, a great opponent to schedule, though. I mean, that's what you want. You want those hard games.
That's a team that played 15 games in 6A last year, 5 playoff games in 6A. He came just a score or 2 away from playing in the state championship game.
Yeah, so it was great for our football team, and that's what you want to do. You want to kind of expose some things to get better at, and I thought penalties were still some things that Cedar Park can tighten up a little bit on. But other than that, a great performance, and excited for this next week for sure.
Yeah, and this was a team that had over 500 yards of offense the week before against a highly ranked 6A team in Temple, and they didn't get close to 500 against us. It was 368. So, and a lot of that on big plays. And that was there's one thing I want to talk about. A few years back, Joe Willis, when he was a head coach here, he asked me to create some extra reports out of the stats that I make each week. And a lot of these reports focused on big plays, big play vulnerability, explosive plays. And I still create these reports for Coach Absek. A couple of numbers appear interesting at this point. One is a stat that we've often highlighted these last 4 years or so, and that's the steadiness at 48% of the percentage of opponent offensive snaps that go for 1, 0, or negative yards. And that 48% has been rock solid ever since I started tracking this in 2014. But at this moment here in 2018, that number's dropped to 38%. The opponent's getting more big plays more often, downwardly adjusting this percentage. In the opener, Vandergrift got 115 of their 282 total yards on 5 of their 60 plays. That's 41% of their yards on 8% of their plays. On these 5 big plays, they averaged 23 yards per play. On all their other 51, Josh, they averaged just 3 yards. And it's a similar numbers against Cedar Ridge. 213 of their 368 came on just 6 of their 58 plays. That's 58% of their yards on 10% of their plays. And on these 6 big plays, they averaged 35.5 yards. And on their other 52 plays, another average of only 3 yards.
Whenever I try to tell people about the Cedar Park program and they ask me and they're checking in about how they're doing, that's always the stat I lead off with. 48% of the time they're going for 1 yard or negative. And that stat may be dripping right now. We still got to get through.
But it's still good. 38 is still pretty good.
That's what I'm trying to say. 38% is still ridiculous when you put it in perspective. And then also, we still have a long season to go and then our district to get into as well. So we'll see those numbers steady out and get back to where they're normal.
Now, I want to make a similar point to what I stated last week after the loss to Vandy. All right, so we've lost 2 in a row. We start the season 0-2. You could add in the season-ending loss to Manville, the program actually on a very rare 3-game losing streak. But we've been here before. You know, we fell to Lake Travis 14-9 at DKR to end 2011. Then we opened 2012 with a 21-7 road loss at Westlake and then a 17-14 home loss to Abilene Cooper. A 3-game losing streak there, the exact same 3 games as well. But that season, We never lost again, winning 14 straight and taking the 2012 state championship. So that kind of thing can be done, and it can be done by us. This program has done it. There's absolutely no reason to think that this program, these players, this head coach sitting right here in front of us in a few months won't be looking back at all this and considering 2018 another grand success. This program and these coaches, they just flat out know how to do this. Players keep the buy-in. Fans keep the faith. This team has a load of upside. All right, we're going to take a short break. When we return, we'll talk about the impact of this game on the school record book. You might be surprised. That's terrific.
Superior Service Award for the last 2 years. Their movers are highly trained and experienced. So whether you need to move your household to a new home across town or an entire corporate office to a new location, your valuables are in knowledgeable and reliable hands with Army Ant Moving Company. Check them out at armyantmoving.com. Don't play games with your money. As one of the country's largest distributors of U.S. government-issued coins, U.S. Money Reserve has helped hundreds of thousands of people make decisions about gold, silver, and platinum. In business for over a decade with 400,000 satisfied clients, U.S. Money Reserve has a AAA rating from the Business Consumer Alliance, a buyback guarantee, and fast and insured shipping. Call 866-646-8465.
Okay, welcome back. Timberwolf Night in America live from the 613 in Mouton's Southern Bistro. I had the red beans and rice tonight. Excellent. Craig, what did you have? The pork chops. That's their biggest seller. What do you think? What's your grade on the pork chop? Pretty good? All right. Yeah, come on down to Mouton's. We're going to be here about another hour or so if you want to come in and sit in with us. The weather's nice. Running backs are here. Coach Absek is here. We'll be talking with them here in a few minutes. All right, we just recapped the Cedar Ridge game played in Burnett last Friday night. The offense was very productive, 469 yards on 76 snaps, but rushing and receiving totals a bit one-sided. Ryan Fiala had all but 2 of the rushing yards, and Carson Neal had 308 of the 416 receiving yards. Will Udoye, the other major contributor there, with 53 yards on 3 catches. One of the things I do is send Coach Absek my observations from updating the school record book after every game. Here's some of what I sent him this weekend. Fiala's 342 yards of total offense is the 9th highest total by an individual in school history. Carson Neal's 302 yards of total offense, he had 308 receiving, -6 on 1 rushing carry, is the 19th most in one game in school history, total offense. With his total yardage in this game, Fiala jumped from number 20 in the program's list of all-time total offense generators all the way up to number 14 passing. Nathan Harwell, Drew Russo, Chris Hutchings, Bill Estevanot, Hayden Craig, and Thomas Middleton. Feels good to say those names again, Josh.
I miss all those people, too. Those are some great names to be mentioned with.
To pass on a record book, yeah.
That's absolutely.
Fiala's 291 passing yards, 9th best individual performance ever at Cedar Park and his own personal best. Ryder Hernandez, 125 yards passing, is his personal best as well. Fiala's 39 passing attempts are the second most in one game ever at Cedar Park and ties his own highest mark. set against Elgin last year. Fiala's 23 completions are the 5th most in a Cedar Park game. Those completions jumped Fiala's career total from 6th to 3rd on the all-time Cedar Park list of completed passes, behind only Nate Grimm and Max Sexton.
Wow.
Pretty impressive. Only a 94-yard touchdown from Grimm to Estevanot against Calhoun in 2013 is a longer pass in Cedar Park history than the 80-yard strike from Hernandez to Neal.
That was a good one, too, in that Calhoun game. Oh, my goodness.
The 40-yard pass from Fiala to Neal ties the 39th longest Cedar Park pass, with one thrown to Neal by Max Sexton against Willis in the playoffs in 16. Only 15 players have ever thrown for more than 100 yards in a game for Cedar Park, and 2 of them did that in this game.
It's crazy just how fast this program just completely evolutionized with the way the passing game has come into the game.
Neal's 14 receptions is a new individual record for a single game. Previous record was 11 by Drew McDaniel versus Vandy in 16. Now, with 95 career catches now, Neal has tied Tommy Levine for second on the career list. The record was set by Peyton Sawicki just last year with 101. He's only 7 catches away from passing Sawicki.
That's definitely going to happen, could potentially happen in the very next game.
Neal's yardage in this game jumped him from 9th on the career receiving yards list all the way to 3rd. Only Diedrich McKnight and Tommy Levine are ahead of him.
Oh, my goodness.
Neal's 2018 performance jumps him onto the list of most receiving yards in a single season, number 20, and we're only 2 games in. Neal's 308 yards receiving in this game absolutely destroys the previous record of 178 set by Diedrich McKnight against Pflugerville in 2007, 11 years ago. With 12 career touchdown catches, 5 in the last 2 games, Neal is at 4th on our all-time list for that, 1 behind Dylan Cox, 2 behind Ethan Fry, 3 behind Tommy Levine. That's another record that will fall.
That will definitely fall this season.
This was the 94th time in program history that the offense gained more than 400 yards. Think about that.
Wow.
You know, you see these 400-yard numbers in pro games, college games. They play 12 minutes more football than we do in high school. We only play 80% of the football they play in those.
And you really don't even see that many times 400 yards.
And you don't. and this program has now done that 94 times. The 301 yards gained in the second half was the second most the program has ever produced in any second half. The most was 330 in the second half of the Cypress Creek playoff loss in 2008 in Houston. The 416 team passing yards, the 3rd most in program history, behind only the 417 against Vandy in 17 and the 427 against Manvel in 16. The 75-yard drive from our 19 to their 6 in the 4th quarter was the 8th longest non-scoring drive in program history. This game was only the 4th time the program has gotten more than 22 first downs and lost. Hudson McGowan's 45-yard pick six was the 13th longest interception return in school history. The 52-yard run to the right side by their quarterback, Jalen Brown, in the first half was the 19th longest rushing play ever allowed by a Cedar Park defense. Not a record you want, but
no.
It was in there anyway. And this is the second time in 2 years we've scored 28 points or more and lost. Now, this 28-point mark on the scoreboard used to be the demarcation line ensuring a victory. Cedar Park won the first 76 games they played when scoring 28 points or more. The first loss was the game at Vandy in 2014, then last season's opener against Midway, and then last night against Ridge. The program, when scoring 28 points or more in a game, is still pretty good now at 110 wins and 3 losses. So watch for that 28 on the scoreboard. All right, now we're going to bring in our very special guests tonight, the Cedar Park running backs, Jonathan Stockwell, Majestin Haverda, Will Lipscomb, Daniel Hernandez, and guys, who wants to grab the thing first? You can either use the headset or the handheld mic. We've trained you in both of them.
We're gonna go with just
Majestin Haverda.
Just that one.
We'll go with that one then. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Strap it up.
Coach suggested to let the senior go first.
Check.
One of the interesting things, it's a fairly small running back core.
Cool.
It's Stockwell, Haverda, Lipscomb, and Hernandez. Lipscomb is the only senior. Will, you were on the show last year. Good to have you back, but bad to see that brace on the knee.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, just one day in practice, we were doing blocking drills, and I just kind of turned on it weird, and I didn't actually think it was a torn ACL at first. I mean, when it happened, it hurt pretty bad, but I thought it was maybe like a sprain or something, and then when I went to the doctor, he was like, unfortunately, you tore your ACL, and I actually have a slight tear in my MCL as well, so
wow,
it's tough. But
That is tough. You had a good year last year, over 600 yards rushing. You're going to be the veteran coming back, anchoring the running back core, and now you're kind of serving, I guess, as the wizened old man of the core, right?
Yeah.
Dispensing advice.
It's definitely fun helping these guys out. They ask me questions. I try to give them the best advice I can, and it usually works out. And it's just fun seeing what these guys can do and how much they've grown from like last year. Their toughness has definitely grown, and it's definitely a different environment going from JV to varsity. But these guys have shown a good transition into that. So.
Will, your sister plays soccer for St. Ed's.
Mm-hmm.
I only know that because I saw her name on the roster when I was their announcer for a game last spring, I guess. And then she ran by me, and I saw your face on this girl's body. I thought, I bet I know who this is.
Yeah.
So how's she doing these days?
She's doing good, still working hard. I think her like glute or something's injured right now, but I think she's making a comeback, and I think they're gonna look pretty good this year. So it'll be fun to go over there and watch them.
Yeah, I was going to ask, do you go to see the games very often?
Not everyone, but when I can, and when my parents ask me to go, I go.
A good son.
It's always good to
A
go
good
support
brother,
when
a
mom
good
and dad
son.
tell you to. I'm not going to lie, though. I have a lot in common with you. My entire junior year I missed because I didn't do anything cool like you in football practice. I tried to do a backflip at a church retreat, and I ended up snapping my arm.
Oh.
And so I missed my entire junior season, and unfortunately.
Does Coach Absek know that story
Oh,
already?
Coach,
Okay, okay.
I had to tell him, and it was a good little 7-on-7 summer. It was a fun summer. We were having a great time, and just that happened, and it was unfortunate though to know that I was going to be on the sidelines for the entire season, but it taught me a lot, just about being a better teammate too, and being there for your guys. And so I know that you're going to be there. You're already that senior leader for them, and I'm telling you, having a fresh set of eyes and coaching these guys up on the sideline, that goes a long way.
Yeah, I'm going to look forward to that.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Will, do you play other sports?
I used to, not anymore.
Football was it?
Yeah.
I was wondering if it was going to be, back in time for you to do something in the spring track or something like that, but I guess you're not running track.
I might do track, maybe a little triple jump. We'll see.
I'm not going to lie, that's what I did.
Hey, what do you know?
Triple jump.
Will, what are your plans after high school?
I'm gonna apply to UT. Maybe probably try to get an engineering degree. And
Oh,
I don't know exactly where I'm gonna go to college yet, but
UT's a good school for engineering.
yeah.
I tell you, another good aspect of going to UT is this. I know that as an 18-year-old, well, you'll be, I don't know if you are now, but you will be by that time.
I am.
You want to strike out. You want to go out on your own and I want to run my household and make my decisions all day long and all that stuff. And I recognize that. But I tell you what, my parents talked me into staying at home my freshman year going to UT, and it was a great idea.
Really?
You know what? It is really tough. College is nothing like high school. High school, you guys know this. You show up every day. You don't skip, and you stay awake and pay attention. You make straight A's. If not, you need to at least do those things.
Yeah.
College is a different thing. It's all up to you. You got to be a self-starter. You don't succeed. It's a different set of skills. It's not innate intelligence to get you A's. It's how much effort and hard work and time and perseverance you put in more than anything else that gets you the A's in college. And that's a tough paradigm to change for an 18-year-old. The way they've done school all their life is different than college, and they got to do that. And if they're out on their own for the first time, now they're doing all their own laundry, doing all the grocery shopping, doing all the cooking, cleaning the house, cleaning the dishes, scrubbing the toilets. They're doing everything that used to be done for them.
Yeah.
That's good in the long run, but making all of those changes at the same time often causes people to fail in school. And I'm glad that my folks talked me into that. So keep that idea open. If you're able to go to school locally, it's not a bad deal to stay at home, still have mom do your laundry, still have mom do your cooking, grocery shopping, still have them putting the gas in their car. And not have
Sounds
to
nice.
deal with all those changes to your life while you're trying to change how you do academics.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. But
All right.
I didn't
UT
hear
Engineering
you.
School would be great. You did that, didn't you?
What was that?
Did you stay at home for your first year, or did you go out?
No, I was at Blinn in College
Blinn.
Station.
Transfer to A&M or?
I was trying to, but I tried to get into Mays Business School, and it was super competitive. And
Yeah.
I had a 3.25 at Blinn, and it was good, but Mays was a 3.85, and so I ended up going to Texas State. And then I started working for the family biz, and You should have just tuned into last week's show, brother.
He gave the whole story.
Oh.
You can hit it on the link, show 69. All right, thanks. Will Lipscomb, our only senior running back, and unfortunately not toting the ball for us this year, helping the team out in other ways. If you'll hand it to, let's go to Majestin next year. Majestin Haverda.
On the mic, when you do it, put it right next to you. Like, get it exactly like you're on Xbox. What do you do, PlayStation or Xbox?
PlayStation.
That sounds pretty good.
Peasant station. That's all right. It's all good.
Video game psych wars. And I have to apologize. I got his first name right, Majestin, but I've been calling him Haverda. It's Haverda, right?
Yes, sir.
What name is that? Where is that from?
It's Czech.
Czech. All
Yes,
right,
sir.
that's cool. So Majestin Junior, you're one of everybody else we'll talk to tonight is a junior.
Yes, sir.
So what is it like? You know, being a football player probably for a long time. When did you start?
7th grade.
7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. Now you're on the varsity, a big-time program. How exciting is that? I would be stoked out of my mind.
Yes, sir.
Play for this team.
Yes, sir. It's definitely different than anything before. Varsity's a new feeling, you know.
Did you used to come to the Cedar Park games, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th
Yes,
grades?
sir. Not really in middle school that much, but freshman year I started coming a lot more.
Have you been a running back the whole time?
No, sir. I moved to running back like 2 weeks ago.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Oh, tell us what other positions you've been playing all your life.
I've been playing. I played quarterback in middle school, and then I moved to slot receiver until 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
All right. So quarterback experience at what level? What grade were you when you were quarterbacking?
7th and 8th grade.
7th and 8th.
Yes.
So you were a slot in 9th grade?
Yes, sir. In 10th
God.
grade.
So you just started doing inside run?
Right.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Well, it's also nice to know, we've got Ryan Fiala kind of going into the line head first and missing the rest of that game and kind of nursing a little bit of an injury there. Nice to know maybe we've got some emergency quarterback material if required. He says no, real
Oh,
quick.
come on, man. You can tap that. You can tap into that.
I would love to. I spent 1 year in high school being the quarterback for the attack team, which I don't know if they still call it anyway. That's the team that runs the other offense's plays against your number one defense.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was a blast.
Oh, I was always scout team running back and just got pummeled every
Oh, yeah.
practice. Oh, just ate it.
It's
It's all
kinda-
good, dude. I gave the best look. I would get up and laugh.
That's
Just right in
kind of
their
like
face.
your,
Ha, 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 ha.
it's kind of like your Rudy duty,
Oh,
taking
dude.
those shots
Oh, I
for the
loved
team,
it.
literally.
Oh, they couldn't hit me hard enough.
It was the same way. We hit
Uh-uh.
all the time. We had a good defense. We had a terrible offense, but our defense was good.
No, I got knocked out by Chet Moss every day. It was terrible.
Majestic, you haven't had much time yet, just 2 varsity games. But
Yes, sir.
what is it that gets your motor running to keep coming at this?
Oh.
What is it about football and playing for Cedar Park that keeps your motor running?
I don't know, really. Just the whole
You-
team thing.
You got to be crazy, bro. It is a different breed to be into this program, and you have to buy into it, though. And that's what makes these teams successful is when everybody across the board buys into it because, I mean, the players that I played with or I still talk to, and I can't believe it. So 2008, this was their 10-year anniversary. So I'm 7 years graduated and still talk to them all the time, and it is a particular brotherhood. But
Yes, sir.
So what are your goals for when you're done with high school? That's a couple of years away, I know.
Yeah, I'm really not sure yet. I want to go to A&M.
What do you want to study?
Either I'm thinking about architecture and astronomy right now.
Oh,
but-
both of those
awesome.
would be interesting.
That sounds
Yeah,
legit.
Yes. Sir.
both of those would be interesting. All right, Majestin Haverda, one of our running backs. And now if you'll go ahead and send it next to you, Jonathan Stockwell. Number 16 in your program, number 1 in your heart. Jonathan Stockwell.
Check that, Mike.
Check.
There it is.
There you go, there you go.
It is.
We got him.
Hey, Jonathan, first time to have you aboard, a junior as well. So have you been a running back all this time you've been playing football?
Pretty much, yes. I started playing running back in 8th grade. I used to play quarterback in 7th grade.
Well, a couple of
Wow,
quarterbacks.
all right.
Huh? So what is it you like about being a running back?
I don't know, just trying to score touchdowns all the time.
Making people miss, running over people.
Running over people is my favorite.
Mm.
That's in juking people out.
I have a weird attribute. I talked about the list a little bit once before, where I'm a kind of a dense pack person. I'd go to the carnivals where they guess your weight, and they would always be way wrong. I am always a lot heavier than I look, and when I looked like I weighed 155, I was weighing 185, that sort of thing. And so I had a lot more bulk to me than somebody who's trying to tackle me thought, and I could often run over people who thought they were going to be running over me. And I love that about being a running back.
Yeah, it's really exciting.
I didn't have the speed to run around him like you probably did. Kind of had to do that. So what's your favorite moment so far in playing football? What was the biggest moment for you as a player?
Just really the kickoff from Vandy game, new atmosphere, first varsity game,
Just the very first moment?
very
That's what you're
first
talking about?
moment of the game.
Oh, yeah.
Right
That gives me goosebumps just up in the press box every year. I can't imagine what it do for you guys on the field.
Just looking at everyone in the stands.
Yeah.
I just
It's a totally
it's a
different
new
feel.
feeling.
It's awesome.
Never felt that before.
It's addicting too,
Oh yeah.
and you got a lot more games to do it, so it gets a lot more fun too. And especially this next game, what kind of are some of the things that you're trying to focus on your running game? Are you that you're trying to get better on?
Just really hitting the holes really hard.
Yeah,
Dancing too much.
not hesitating and trusting those big hefties up front. Sometimes
sir.
you got to make it happen yourself too, though.
Yes, sir.
And I suppose there's also a lot of responsibilities at the running back position that have nothing to do with carrying the ball. Talk about that a little bit.
It's really important when you block, when you don't get the ball,
Right.
protect your quarterback. It's one of the most important things in the passing game, to be honest.
So what are your plans when you're done with Cedar Park High School?
I want to either go to UT or A&M for mechanical engineering.
Wow.
Both of them great schools.
That's right. Architecture and what was it? It's astronomy, A&M. Engineering, UT. Engineering at either A&M or UT. We got a lot of synergy there with what these guys want to do with themselves. All right, thanks a lot. That's Jonathan Stockwell. He's been getting the start the last couple of games, running back, and we're now going to pass it down the other end of the line to Daniel Hernandez. And Daniel, I remember Coach Absek has been kind enough to invite me out whenever I want to go to the JV games and roam the sidelines as long as I don't get in anybody's way. And I do that 3 or 4 times a year, I guess. And I was at a game last year when I saw you absolutely destroying somebody every time you carried the ball. And you came over, I asked you your name, and you told me, I said, I hope I'm calling your name out aloud in the next couple of years.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
I remembered that.
I remember.
And
that too.
I'm glad to see you on the varsity. How's it going?
Pretty good yourself.
Great. Getting some playing time lately. Played a lot against Cedar Ridge.
Yes, sir.
What's your favorite thing about being a running back?
Everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
Well, elaborate. Tell us a little.
Having your head coach as your position coach
Yeah.
is pretty.
That's kind of
Pretty
unusual,
exciting.
I would
Yeah.
guess, isn't it?
It is.
You really don't get to mouth off at all, do you?
No.
Daniel, when you gotta. There's the no pass, no play thing, and so you gotta be having your nose to the grindstone in academics, even in high school. At Cedar Park High School, what is your favorite of the courses you're taking?
None of them. actually.
He's
love
honest.
None
He's
of them.
honest. None of them.
Nah.
What
but,
is your least hated course?
Probably football.
Football. Okay,
Yeah.
of course, we're talking about the academic stuff, though. I mean, give me something in a classroom, a teacher that you don't mind going to.
Business management.
Business management.
Yeah.
So what do you do in that class? What's good? What do you like about that?
Just like computer program stuff. I don't
Cool.
know.
Cool. What's your least favorite? I'll go ahead and give you a chance to do
Math.
that. Math. Now
Preach,
that's
brother.
a guy after my own heart. I was a straight A student. And I got B's in math.
Yeah.
I didn't mind practical math. Like, give me some real world problem to solve. You had to throw trigonometry at it or something even, and I loved that. But I hated looking at a page of 47 long division problems that you're just throwing numbers, getting each other to get an answer for the sake of getting an answer. I hated that,
Exactly.
and just did enough to get by. But you shouldn't. I mean, math,
Aim for the stars.
reading, science, history, probably the 4 most important courses you got out there. So what do you plan on doing when high school's done, Daniel? A couple of years away again for you, but what do you got?
Honestly, I have no idea right now at the moment.
It's okay. I think I
Yeah.
was kind of there, too, at that point.
Yeah.
Josh, you have any idea what you were beginning your junior year?
Did I have an idea?
Yeah.
No, not really. Because what was that? That's right, man.
He's still
hey,
Coach says he's
that's
still
all
trying to
life
figure it
is,
out.
isn't it, right, brother? Oh lordy, appreciate that.
I've got a 34-year-old daughter still trying to figure out what she wants to be when she grows up.
Yep.
Oh, that's no big deal. No big deal.
No,
All right. If we, Daniel, thanks. Could you pass the thing back over here to Coach Absek now. We're going to coach on and talk a little bit about running backs. And head coach Carl Absek is doing. I guess it's kind of an unusual thing, Carl, to have the head coach also taking responsibility of doing some position coaching for a team. I haven't heard of that too often.
Oh, it happens. I mean, it's kind of actually fun.
I bet.
I have guys to work with and call over after practice, have a meeting with, instead of just standing there by myself. So it's kind of fun, actually.
So this group, how you grading out this group so far? What do you like about them?
They give great effort. You know, they're doing a good job. We've transported a couple of them from other positions to the running back position, and they're doing a good job. And bottom line, it's a learning curve, just like the rest of the guys that are going through. You know, when you transition from one level, you know, freshman to JV to varsity, there's a transitional phase, and it's the same thing when you're moving from one position to the other. It takes a little time to learn the finer points of the position, but their effort's great, and they've got a good attitude. They're really supportive of each other, and so I can't complain about anything as far as their work ethic.
And, you know, you have some people mentioning we haven't got a lot of ground yards in the two games yet this year, but I'm looking at the running back core, and the one senior can't play, so the other three guys, juniors, it's their first year on the varsity. So until just about 10 days ago or 11 days ago, we had no carries of varsity experience with the running back core. And, okay, well, you got to start somewhere. So, I mean, they're just going to do nothing but grow.
Right, and, you know, that doesn't happen here very often. Typically, we've always had several guys come back with experience, and, you know, that was where Will was a big deal with Will. Is, you know, he was our leading rusher last year, so we were excited to have him back. He had a great summer and a great spring. So, you know, it's the unfairness of life sometimes in him not getting to play as a senior, but it also took away the one guy that had that experience, and so they're all starting out new this year, and I'm, you know, like I said, I'm really proud of them. You know, running backs and rushing yards is a team effort, and we also have 4 brand new starters on the offensive line. So it's a combination deal of a lot of youth and a lot of inexperience playing at the varsity level, and also playing against really good opponents. So I know it's coming. We're working really hard at it, and it's just it takes time, and so we're getting there.
That O-line is coming along well, too, because, you know, in pass blocking especially, I think we've only given up 2 sacks, haven't we, in 2 games? 1 sack a game is not a bad deal.
No, it's not. And, as many times as we've thrown it, that's pretty good. But, you know, you can't be an expert in everything right at the beginning. And so we've kind of leaned on our strengths, and we're developing the weaknesses. And that's the whole point of the beginning of the season. And, like I said, we're going to get there. It's just a matter of time, and these guys put great effort forth with it, and as do our offensive linemen and our offensive line coaches. And so schematically we've got a good plan. It's just a matter of continuing to develop in the execution of that.
And, Coach, you were a big part as the offensive coordinator of that 2012 state championship team that I mentioned a little while ago that was in exactly this same boat. The previous year they lost a game to end the season in the playoffs, dropped the first 2 to be on a 3-game losing streak. Talk about what you all did as a coaching staff at that point to ensure that, hey, you know, we know what we're doing, stick with the program, keep the buy-in, and how you're able to, from that experience, translate that into what you're telling the team about things going on right now.
Well, it's really just what we talk about. It's a growth mindset. It's a process to get from point A to point B, and obviously every game you play, there's lessons to be learned, and it's a lot more enjoyable to learn those lessons when you win a game. But sometimes a win masks, you know, an ugly face. And so, you know, when you don't have the success that you want, it puts a little bit more of a sense of urgency to get it fixed. And so, you know, it's not an enjoyable experience to lose games, especially here, because that's not what we do, and it's not what we've had a lot of experience doing. But every week, whether you win or lose, we're gonna really focus on and harp on the things that we didn't do well, because that's the nature of a coach, is to improve your weaknesses. And I think that's just the biggest deal, is just getting the kids to understand that the end result that we get is a reflection of how we work or our knowledge of the game or whatever. And so if we want to change that, we have to change the other pieces too. and just continue to preach to them the process to get to where we want to be. But from the first game against Vandegrift to the last week, there was significant difference, and it was a significant change, and that's that's why we play the games that we're playing, and why we schedule the people that we schedule, because we want to be challenged. Because I don't feel like you get near as much feedback off of an easy victory as you do a hard-fought win or loss, and so it'll make us better in the long run.
I completely agree. We're not going to get any better playing Colleen Ellison and Hayes and non-district. So I think that your scheduling paradigm is terrific and 100% in favor of that. All right, it's time for another short break. We'll be right back with more of the Cedar Park running backs after this.
Of U.S. government-issued coins, U.S. Money Reserve strives to provide clients with the highest level of service, as well as the most exceptional gold coins on the market. Over the years, U.S. Money Reserve clients have placed their trust in the company's ability to help choose the highest quality and most appropriate precious metals for their portfolios. If you have questions about gold, silver, or platinum, visit the website usmoneyreserve.com and follow U.S. Money Reserve on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Mouton Southern Bistro. It's not Cajun per se, but rather a fusion of Texas and Louisiana. It's more like Cajun and Creole meet familiar Texas ingredients. Try their 3 kinds of jambalaya. Very Cajun and very good. But their top seller is the chicken fried steak. They've also got great pasta dishes, shrimp and crawfish, gourmet burgers served on Hawaiian sweet rolls, and terrific gumbo. Always great ambiance, especially out on the porch. Even more so when Timberwolf Night in America is out on the porch Tuesday nights, the week of home games. That's Mouton Southern Bistro, near the corner of Cypress Creek Road and Lakeline, just behind Sonic. CallFire, texting and calling solutions that help you reach more customers. Over 4 billion messages delivered. Engage your customers with text and phone call reminders to develop customer relationships and alert them to new opportunities. Save valuable time by easily sending personalized messages to all of your prospects and customers in minutes, not hours. Increase revenue by activating lead lists, tracking advertising performance, and shortening collection cycles. Thousands trust CallFire. Go to callfire.com and sign up now to reduce customer attrition, increase sales, and start direct customer conversations.
The 613 and Moutons. Josh and Brad bringing you the stuff tonight. We've been talking with Cedar Park running backs Jonathan Stockwell, Justin Haverda, Will Lipscomb, Daniel Hernandez, and their position coach, who also happens to have the other job of head coach of the Cedar Park Timberwolves, Carl Absek. Before we get back to that, a quick look at some other scores in the Austin area. First, from our own district, 11-5A, Pflugerville over Leander, 37-20. Panthers 1-1. Rouse fell to Anderson, 25-20. Raiders 1-1. Manor lost to Copperas Cove, 7-6. Mustangs 1-1. Connolly lost to Del Valley, 26-21. Cougars 0-2. Georgetown over Waco High, and their new head coach, Kwame Cavill, 17-7. Eagles 2-0. And Hutto trailed 4A Liberty Hill nearly the entire night at home, but won 52-51 in overtime. Hippos 2-0, but smarting a bit. Only Hutto and Georgetown won among 11-5A teams. Other scores of interest: Westlake fell to Cypress Ranch from Houston 25-21. Chaps are 1-1. Lake Travis beat Mansfield Summit 14-0. Cavs 2-0 and ranked number 6 in 6A. Vandegrift over Colleen Ellison 28-12. Vipers are 2-0. Right now, one of the favorite segments of the show. We're going to play one of our trivia games with the guys. This game's called Every Texas Football State Champion. We're going to split up into 2 teams. One will be captained by Coach Absek, and Coach, as the coach, you can pick whichever 2 guys you want. Who do you want? He's got John and Will. So John and Will be on Team Absek. Willard, the Willard of Oz, is going to coach the other team, Team Willard, so he'll have the other 2 guys. So you guys kind of split apart a little bit along those lines.
No,
left and right.
no. Willard of Oz doesn't lose.
Except when he plays me.
No.
Team Willard versus Team Absec. So here's what we do. Each team's going to take turns providing the name of a high school football program that they believe has won one or more state championships. You get points commensurate with how many state titles that program you name has won. If you guess, say, Jonesville, and Jonesville's won 5 state titles, you get 5 points. Guessing a team that has no state titles, like Leander, gets you 0 points. And at the end of the 7 innings of this, we'll see if we got a winner. If we're tied, we can go in extra innings. So here we are. We'll have a coach. We're gonna say you've won the toss and can elect to either go first or second. Coach is going to go first. So here's Team Absec. You guys consult with each other. Come up with the name of a Texas high school football program that you think has won a lot of state championships.
Brownwood.
Brownwood. All right, let me type that in here. I got my little searcher thing here. Brownwood. Ding, 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 ding. 7 state titles, 7-0 lead after half an inning of play. Josh has got the crowd noise going here. All right, Josh, Team Willard, your guys are up.
Okay, sorry, I've been doing a lot of clicking, and I haven't been researching. I have not been looking it up, I
researching
promise.
who won
I'm
state
not.
championship.
No, I haven't. Google is not going to help us on this one. All right.
So Team Willard is consulting themselves now.
I just said.
Go for it.
Allen.
Allen, a good guess. Let's put that one in the old searcheroo. 5. 5 state titles for Allen, so after 1 inning, 7-5 Team Absec, and they are at the plate for their second guess. What do you got?
All right, we're going to go Lake Travis.
Lake Travis, they've won a few. 6, in fact.
I don't care. I will never win with Lake Travis.
So at the end of an inning and a half,
I would never win.
13-5
No.
Team Absec.
I will never give credit.
All right, Team Willard.
All right.
Also includes
Who?
Haverda and Daniel Hernandez. Who? No, we'll give them that miss then. Not California. It's got to be Texas.
Do I have Groves? Is Groves on my team?
Yeah, Groves can pitch in.
Or wait, who?
Here's what we'll do. Groves can help the team that's behind.
No, I don't want that yet.
Katie.
Oh, that's a good one. They've got multiples. Katie has 8, and we're at a 13-13 tie. All right, we go to the top of the third with Team Absec. What's your next guess?
South Lake Carroll.
Jonathan rather says South Lake Carroll. South Lake Carroll. The answer is just a matter of how many. 8! 21-13 Team Absec. All right. Bottom of the third for Team Willard.
All right.
I like the fact that we got cricket noises in the background.
I know. Is there not like a little ding?
Yeah, where's our little Jeopardy thing? You got crowd noise and you get a right answer, though.
Man, I'm ready to be sure. Because those are like the only ones that I've known so far, the ones that have won in our time.
Are you just taking a loss right there?
I'm not taking an L.
All right, well, let's go.
Yeah, let's get it going. Who's your guess? Man, let's see. Man, oh, no. 10 seconds.
Has Pflugerville gotten one? Pflugerville.
I don't know. Are you going to guess Pflugerville?
That's
Pflugerville.
0.
I know they played in one a few years ago. 0 for Pflugerville. There's the losing one. All right, Team Absec for guess number 4.
All right, Odessa Permian.
Odessa Permian. Josh, how come you didn't think of that? They got 6. 27-13. 4th inning, bottom of the 4th for Team Willard. What do we got? Sealy, the home of Eric Dickerson. Let's see what they got state championship-wise. Spell it right. Spell it right, it'd be better. Ow, nothing. 2 offers for Team Willard. 27-13 our score. We go to the top of the 5th for Team Absec now.
Yeah, we're gonna go with Converse Judson.
Converse Judson. How come you not think of these, Josh?
I know, right?
6 of them. 33-13. Open up a 20-point lead.
Cibolo Steel?
Cibolo Steel. That's a good guess.
Dang it.
Just one.
Oh,
Better than nothing.
okay.
33-23 our score. We go to the top of the sixth. Team Absep protecting a 10-point lead. That's wrong. I've got something not adding up right here.
Hey,
Let me see why.
We're going to try that one.
They should only have 14.
I think they've gotten at least one.
So Team Absec,
Is Cal Allen having? No.
sixth guess. We got 2 innings left.
I'm missing some.
Lamarck.
Lamarck. Huh. I got to spell that right. I wanted this L-A. Didn't know it was L-A or an L-E. None for Lamarck. None for Lamarck. Maybe I'm spelling it wrong then. Here's what we'll do. I'm going to go into my actual list of them by alphabet and just see if I'm spelling them wrong. Yep, they got 2. I just spelled it wrong when I
Fact
typed
check
it in.
it. Got to fact check.
Yep, I just spelled it wrong when I put them in. 35-14 and inning number 6 for Team Willard.
Do it.
Liberty Hill.
Liberty Hill. I know they got at least a couple.
It's a point, man.
Whoops, I did something wrong here. Liberty Hill, yes, 2. 16 points
Yeah, I
now.
think they have one.
35-16 with 1 guess left. Boy, you're gonna have to be a good for Team Willard. What's your guess, Team Absec?
We're gonna go Wichita Falls.
Wichita Falls.
5.
Whoops, I didn't spell that right.
When? In the 40s? Oh, my gosh.
Oop, here we go. Wichita Falls. Wichita Falls has 6.
Twice.
6.
6.
41 points for
Oh.
Team Absec. To 25, or to 16 rather. So Josh, that has 26 state titles.
What?
But who do you got? You need somebody who's got like 26 state titles.
Right. Selena? Salina? Well, that's how we say it from North Carolina.
That's one of those things that is on another game of ours where Texans purposely mispronounced the name of their own town.
That was last week's game.
Yeah.
Last
There are
week's.
one of those on that one. Let's see. Let me go over there and put in. Salina misspelled or mispronounced. They have 8. Pretty good answer. Yeah, they got 8. So our final score, 41-24. The guesses for Team Willard were Allen, Katie, Cibolo
Is
Steel,
what it
Liberty
is.
Hill, Salina, who scored. They went over with Pflugerville and
I'll
Seeley.
beat you in a race.
The points for Team Absec
No.
came with guessing Brownwood with 7, Lake Travis with 6, South Lake
Oh,
Carroll
these
8,
shoes.
Odessa Permian 6, Judson with 6, Lamarck had 2, and Wichita Falls had 6. Only one team that Team Absec guessed had less than 6.
How strong.
That was strong. That was strong.
This is
All
not
right.
a game you want to play with me.
Not a game you want to play with me, says Coach. He pays attention to that sort of thing. All right, good deal. Now time for a preview of San Angelo Central. We don't know a lot about them, but the guy standing next to us does. Bobcats, ranked as high as 15th in one poll, have a long tradition of being a Texas State football power. They're currently 2-0 with a 19-7 home win over Colleen Shoemaker, who hasn't won a game since 2015, so we don't know what we can take from that. And a 49-3 road win at Del Rio, who was 2-8 last year, so it's hard to tell from that, too. The Bobcats did go 49-3, though, on a team that good teams should go 49-3 on. Central plays in District 3, 6A in the West region. We have never played a team located farther west. And, in fact, when we go out to San Angelo a year from now, it'll be our farthest west trip ever. They outgained Del Rio 498 yards to 104, and that's even with losing their star quarterback Maverick McIver to a season-ending knee injury halfway through the third quarter. Central will now be led by Malachi Brown. He was a starting slot receiver who's had to move to play quarterback. That means they've lost a starting slot receiver as well. Under McIver, they like to throw the ball around. 8 receivers had catches against Del Rio. Their other quarterback is more of a runner, though. We'll see if they have to change what they're doing. Their defense has only allowed 10 points to two 6A teams. This will be the first game ever between the two programs. And, Coach, what are you seeing out of San Angelo Central? What do we got to worry about there?
Well, one, they're really big and strong up front on both sides of the ball. I really like the way that they play. Defensively, they're really aggressive, kind of like us. And so, I like the style of play that they play. And then up front, offensive line-wise, they're a bunch of maulers. And so they're big, strong kids who just get after it and come off the ball. So I think, whoever can control the line of scrimmage on either side of the ball is obviously going to gain a big advantage in the game. And, Coach Davis and his crew out there have really turned that program into a state power in West Texas. And I think he's won 4 district championships in a row out there. And so they've done a great job with those kids. And they're just going to be real tough and hard-nosed kids because football is important to them.
Their quarterback, Malachi Brown, at this point of the season, you don't have much film on anybody, but we really don't have much on him. He's only quarterbacked for a quarter and a half. What kind of skills does he bring we got to watch out for?
He's really athletic, and so he's what you would consider a dual-threat quarterback. He's young, so it's just one of those deals where it's how much time has he had behind center, especially playing at this level. That will be, important to see and see how he responds to the pressure that we hope to bring. Like I said, the benefit for him is he's got a really veteran offensive line that's really a talented group, big group. But I think it's just his athleticism is the big key because he can stretch plays into, give time for guys to get open and things like that. Definitely not a pocket guy. He's going to get out and run around and make things happen. So he's a legit threat. And then they have several really good receivers that are, great route runners, possession guys that'll go make the tough catches. And they've got a couple of talented running backs. So offensively, they're a really good team. They're really good at the schemes that they run and they're disciplined in that approach. And then defensively, like I said, they're really big up front. I like their safety and corner, and then one of their linebackers, I think, are really talented kids that will run hard in pursuit of the ball, and they're just big, strong kids. So they'll be a big challenge for us.
Now, in the first 2 games, you had kind of a dual quarterback approach. Will we have that again in this game?
Well, I mean, it's just one of those deals where Ryan has done a great job, and that's, the benefit of having a guy that came back from 7 games of experience last year. And then, his understudy is a young kid that, for me personally, if you're going to have kids up on the varsity, I want them to try to get to play. And so that's been the big objective there, is just to make sure that we're trying to develop him as well, because he's going to be back for 2 more years. And so it's not necessarily anything by design. It's just an opportunity to get guys in the game because it's non-district, and you want to see how they're going to play and react to playing on Friday nights and playing varsity football. So
it really worked out well against Ridge. They both got great playing times, touchdown passes. First time we've ever had 2 quarterbacks throw for 100 yards or more in a game. First time we ever had 2 quarterbacks have their career passing totals achieved in a game. So that approach is working well.
No, it's good. It's nice when you have multiple options, and so they've both done a good job, and I'm really proud of both of them.
All right. Anything else, Coach, you'd like to say before we get out of here, before we sign off?
No, I appreciate you guys having us on, and we look forward to hopefully having a full house at Gupton this week, and show up early and wear black and be loud. Hopefully it'll be a fun time.
All right, I think so too. Thanks for head coach Carl Absack. Josh, any last things before we sign off?
No, make sure you guys tune in. We'll start the pregame around, is it 6:30?
Yep, about 6:30 for the 7 o'clock. I still haven't got used to the 7 o'clock. I keep talking about 7:30. And
so,
Coach, can we get a little insight on that? We've been starting at 7:30 forever, high school football, and it's 7 o'clock this year.
I don't know. It's kind of just this movement, I suppose, in high school football. I don't know exactly the answer.
Get people home earlier?
I got outvoted, 6-1
wow.
by the district to start at 7 instead of 7:30. And, I think, you get done earlier and all that, but for me personally, it just 7:30 is when we should start, and it's called Friday Night Lights for a reason. We're playing half the game in daylight, so
not Friday or evening lights.
It wasn't my choice, but sometimes you lose the vote.
I agree. I guess getting home early is a plus. They have half an hour less of light bills to pay.
Well, the tough part is
I
that
guess.
the officials, they have jobs too.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
So getting officials there, and then for people getting off work, having enough time to go and eat before they go to the game, it's just, I don't know. It's not my favorite thing.
Yeah, I'm
Well,
kind of with you.
Yeah, make sure you guys tune in, though. Cecil will be doing color. I'll be on the play-by-play. Should be a good time, and just hope that Cedar Park can come out and play some physical football. These non-district games are always fun, just to go play somebody you really don't know, and you can really just test everything. But then as a group, collectively, it's just fun to just take it to some people. You've never played before. There's never a record, so just go ahead and start it undefeated.
Yeah, first time we've played these guys. All right, that's it for tonight. We'll be back next week, next Tuesday night, 7. This is still 7:30 Central Time. From Majores, our guests will be the linebackers next week. We'd like to thank our guests tonight, Cedar Park running backs Jonathan Stockwell, Majestin Haverda, Will Lipscomb, Daniel Hernandez, and head coach and running
This is the KMAX Sports Network.